What would you say if I told you that the foundation of the Bible wasn't built in a vacuum, but was carved out of the older, darker stones of Canaanite mythology? What if the book of Revelation isn't actually a roadmap for the end of the world, but a partial, distorted retelling of a war between gods? Tonight, we're venturing into the abyss to meet Lotan, the seven-headed sea dragon. We're going to trace her evolution from the coastal shrines of Canaan to the apocalyptic visions of modern Christianity. More importantly, we'll discuss why the modern occult initiate should care about this monstrous figure and what she represents for our own internal alchemy. Before we descend, if you value these deep dives into the hidden corners of history, please share this episode with a kindred spirit. To support the research and help keep this education effort alive, you can donate to the show at buymeacoffee.com/SOS cubed. That's buymeacoffee.com/SOSCUBED. Now, let us look to the vision. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Revelations 12, verse 3. In modern Christianity, this image is flattened. It's labeled Satan and tucked away. Most believers are content with that. The symbolism of Revelation is intentionally chaotic, designed to be frightening enough that people stop asking questions. But the truth, as it so often is far more complex than the black and white morality of organized religion. To find the source, we have to look back to Lotan. In ancient Canaanite myth, Lotan is the coiled servant of the sea god, Yam. She is the personification of chaos, famously defeated by the storm god, Baal. Sound familiar? It's the classic archetype, an earthly, primordial antagonist pitted against a heavenly hero. But when we decode the numerology, the monster starts to look much more like a deity. The 7 heads. In the ancient world, 7 is the number of divine power. The 7 crowns. This denotes absolute spiritual authority. The 10 horns. 10 represents completion, perfection. By the Bible's own symbolic logic, Lotan isn't a mistake or an accident of evil. She has a preordained place within the divine order. Her chaos isn't a lack of purpose. It is a specific type of power. Consider the context of Revelation chapter 12. The chapter opens with a heavenly woman in the throes of childbirth. For those steeped in Canaanite lore, the identity of this woman is clear. She is Asherah, the great mother of the gods. The dragon appears exactly as she is giving birth. While the biblical text is vague about where the dragon comes from, the esoteric implication is staggering. Could the monster and the divine child be siblings? Could she be birthing both the light and the shadow simultaneously? As initiates, what do we take from this? We must recognize that those who claim to uphold order are often the very ones who necessitate chaos. Think of Lotan as the Kundalini energy, the serpent coiled at the base of the spine. If that energy is forced or misaligned, it feels like a cataclysm. It manifests as a battle between the heavenly conscious mind and the chaotic primal self. Lotan is the Shakti of Yam. She is the active, surging force of the subconscious. She is the part of us that influences reality from beneath the waves of our awareness. When we stop fighting her, she becomes a guide towards self-sovereignty and earthbound divinity. If you want to find Lotan, don't look to the sky. look to your dreams, because she is tied to the subconscious. She speaks clearest when the conscious mind is asleep. If you require a physical anchor for your practice, use elements of her domain, sea salt, shells, or serpent imagery. But remember, do not approach her as an adversary to be conquered. Approach her as a buried part of yourself, waiting to be integrated. Only then can you move past the monster and find the power. If you've had experiences with Lotan or any of the entities we've discussed tonight, I want to hear from you. Send your questions or accounts to soscubed@gmail.com. That's SOSCUBED@gmail.com. You've been listening to Son of Saturn. Until next time, keep digging for the truth and trust your instincts.